got to try this. I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shannon.
And it's a new year, so we need a fresh start.
Try This is a series where we discover the Oxford County Library collection and try new things. Today, we are going to try some DIY stain removers and some organizing tips.
So before we tackle our montage of stains, we're going to show you how to make an easy all-purpose cleaner.
Okay, let's do it. To make a basic all-purpose cleaner, we are going to be using a recipe from the Clean My Space book written by Melissa Maker. So our recipe is on page number 16, and it requires 1.5 cups of water, a 1/2 cup of rubbing alcohol, and 1 teaspoon of gentle dish soap. It doesn't specify what brand or color of dish soap, so you can use what you have. And you can also add 10 drops of essential oils. That is optional. And we will need a spray bottle or a container to catch it all in.
Shall we make it?
Let's do it.
Okay. The first ingredient was
1.5 cups of water. And a 1/2 cup of rubbing alcohol. Good, and 1 teaspoon of gentle dish soap. Good, and then the recipe says to combine all the ingredients in an empty spray bottle and shake well. So after giving your mixture a shake, it clearly makes lots and lots of bubbles, so you can let it rest a little bit and spray and wipe.
It smells very clean.
Looks good. That's a very simple all-purpose cleanser. And if you're interested in checking out this book, you can find it in the Oxford County Library catalog at www.ocl.net.
So next, I think we're going to try making a DIY pre-wash stain remover.
Because as you saw at the beginning, we have lots of stains to tackle. So let's do that next.
So what do we need for this recipe, Shannon?
So for a pre-wash stain remover, we are going to use 1 part Blue Dawn dish soap to 2 parts of hydrogen peroxide. So you can make that in whatever quantity you'd like, but 1 part soap, 2 parts hydrogen peroxide. And you can also add some baking soda for deodorizing purposes or to add a little bit extra grittiness for scrubbing. So 2 parts hydrogen peroxide.
Okay. So we're doing 1/4 cup. So we're going to do 2/4 hydrogen peroxide.
And to 1 part Blue Dawn dish soap. And this recipe we're following was specific in saying Blue Dawn. So you can try it at home with whatever dish soap you have. We're going to try it as per the recipe.
And a little bit of baking soda, it said, if we wanted to.
If you'd like, you can add a little bit of baking soda. It did not give a quantity.
Maybe we'll just throw in a teaspoon of it.
We will be using this book, Stain Rescue, to tackle our variety of stains from earlier. This book does mention to use a pre-wash stain remover in a couple of the recipes. So store-bought version or a DIY try-it-at-home version.
All right, well, shall we tackle our stains?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's time. Let's see how it works. Well, we've stained our favorite shirts and now we have laundry to do. I think we should tackle that peanut butter and jelly stain first.
Sounds good to me.
We are going to be using the Stain Rescue book. And on page 104 and 105, there is the top 10 kid stains, or adults who like sandwiches. And peanut butter and jelly is number 9. So, first we need to scrape off as much excess peanut butter and jelly from the item. And you're going to tackle the oil stain first. So that would be any peanut butter first. You're going to pre-treat with a pre-wash stain remover and then wash in hot water. And then if any stain remains, you're going to tackle the sugar and dye stain, which is the jelly. To tackle the jelly stain, we are going to mix 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and a 1/2 teaspoon of liquid laundry detergent with 1 quart of warm water to soak for 15 minutes and then rinse and then wash as normal. Stain Rescue to the rescue. Let's try it.
So scrape off the excess food. And then treat it with your pre-wash stain remover.
This is the mixture that we made, that recipe that we made together.
I mean, I guess you gotta probably work it in there. So to tackle these juice stains right here, we need to flush them with cold water. And then again, treat it with our DIY pre-wash stain remover. Which smells actually really good. While we wait for the other shirt to soak, let's tackle this coffee and pen stain.
So the stain rescue book tells us for coffee to sponge the spot with cool water or soak for 30 minutes in cold water. And then pre-treat with a pre-wash stain remover and then launder as regular. And for the pen stain, it says to sponge with a dry cleaning solvent until the ink stops bleeding. I think the ink has stopped bleeding already because it air dried. And then we're going to rinse thoroughly and sponge the stain with rubbing alcohol and then let it air dry. If the stain remains after drying, rub liquid laundry detergent onto the stain and let it stand overnight. Then rinse, apply pre-wash, and launder as regular. So, let's try it.
Okay, so first we're just gonna sponge it with cold water.
So to tackle the pen stain, we're going to add rubbing alcohol to the stain after we've rinsed it. And then we're going to sponge it away.
Just getting it out.
Not bad. So the rubbing alcohol did a good job, but if the stain remains, which it is a little bit, we can add liquid laundry detergent to the stain and let it sit. Then you rinse and wash as regular.
So this is liquid laundry detergent, not our stain remover. And we're just gonna leave that on there.
While our stains are soaking, we are going to talk briefly about the organizing books we have in the Oxford County Library collection.
As you can see here are some of the examples of the books that we do carry. We know that a lot of people's New Year's resolutions are to get organized in your house and start the year off with everything kind of in order. So these books are right up your alley.
Starting an organizing project can be a very daunting task. And a tip we took from these books was to prepare yourself and prepare your mind to be able to take on a large project. That also means preparing anybody else who lives in your household, because a lot of organizing projects, especially if they're larger ones, take more than one day and they take a substantial amount of time. So prepare everybody who lives in your house to be on board with the changes.
And another tip that almost all of these books tell you to do are to make lists, checklists, and tasks to keep you on track.
I am a big fan of lists. I have multiple lists on the go at home as well as on my desk, and I like being able to cross something off. I'm also guilty of writing down something that I've already done, so I can then cross it off of my checklist. So checklists help me stay on track. If one of your goals is to start organizing, it is okay to start small, and we encourage you, and a lot of these books will encourage you too, to start small. So even if you just start with one drawer, that is a great place to start. Using small containers can help you with odds and ends and those things that roll around in your junk drawer, but definitely start small.
You could even start with like your refrigerator. I don't know about any of you, but try pulling everything out of your fridge. You'd be surprised at what you find hiding back in the corners that maybe you missed a few months ago.
Starting in one place is a great idea. I just cleaned my washing machine because it caught my eye and I thought I'd give it a try. And now every time I go down there to do laundry, it looks sparkling clean and I feel really good about it.
So a lot of these books will also tell you that having stuff is okay, but if it's overwhelming to you, then it is okay to get rid of things as well. So that brings us to two of our probably more famous books, the Marie Kondo series.
Marie Kondo might be a familiar name to you, and you may have watched her show on Netflix. We have her books, Spark Joy and The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. So the premise of those is you take all of your items to one spot, and you hold each item, and if it sparks joy for you, you keep it, and you find a spot, an organized spot, to keep it. If it doesn't spark joy for you, then it's time to move it along and get rid of it. And if it's something that is trash, then it goes in the garbage. If it's something that's still functional but doesn't serve a purpose for you any longer, then you can donate it. Along that same theme, we have 31 Days to a Clutter-Free Life. So this is a great book to set a 31-day goal to deal with all that stuff that you don't know what to do with.
So a couple more titles we have here are The Home Edit Life, as well as Secrets of an Organized Mom. I think I may need to take this one out.
And over here we have Clean Mama's Guide to a Peaceful Home. And down the end there, a classic, that is the Molly Maid Cleaning Handbook. And we have a tab saved in the top there that tells you one of the best tips to live by, a rule of thumb. When you're cleaning something, you start the top to the bottom and you clean left to right. It's a good rule.
Really is. So I think that wraps up our organizing portion of Try This.
You can find all these books and many more on organizing in our Oxford County Library catalog at ocl.net.
So how about we go and check on our stains?
Sounds good.
So this was a shirt with the juice and jam.
And there is virtually no stain left. I'm very impressed. And that is after we washed it. And we'll come over here to our coffee and pen shirt. Coffee stain, all gone. And there is the tiniest bit of pen stain left there, which could be treated again with the rubbing alcohol on the sponge and a pre-wash stain remover.
Well, that wraps up our first Try This of 2022.
And I think it was a good success.
Agreed. I'm ready to rush home and tackle my closets.
If organizing and cleaning are one of your New Year's resolutions or just something that you plan on doing this year, go out and get yourself some basic tools to make those jobs easier. So as you can see on the table, we have some rubber gloves, some white cloths, a toothbrush, and a scrubbing brush. There's a magic eraser, spray bottles, pre-wash, and of course some paper towels.
The dollar store carries all kinds of little containers as well for your organizing needs. So grab yourself the basic tools and some good books and tackle those projects.
Thank you so much for joining us today for another Try This, and until next time.